Hopefully all is well. I hope you guys are ready. Sorry about that. I hope you're ready for the class today. I hope you have your pencils and your paper ready to take notes. Today, we'll be talking about percentages. We'll do that great thing that we all love, which is math, right? Okay, so today we're going to talk about percentages. All right, what is a percentage? A percentage is a fraction with a denominator of 100, okay? It could be a part of a whole. So for instance, if I had a percentage, right? We know that 100% is the whole, right? Okay, so that's the whole. The denominator, which we learned last week, was the bottom number right here. This is the denominator. And a percent is part of a whole. So if I wanted to know part of 100, I would put 40, which is a part, and the bottom is the whole. Okay, you see that? A percentage is a part of a whole. It's the share. It could be considered a share in relation to a whole number. And it could look like that. It could also look like this. 30% over 100%. Okay, see that? Percent is a part of a whole. So let's make it plain here. So say we have 30%, let's just say 70% of the students were in class today. 70%, right? And we know that a percentage is a whole. It's a whole number, right? A part of a whole, a percent. So you got 70% of the students showed up today out of 100. Out of 100. Let's put it up here. Sorry, out of 100. So that leaves us with 30% of the students were absent. So we had 70 in attendance. Out of the 100%, 30% were absent. So again, what is a percent? A fraction with 100 as its denominator. It could also be known as a share in relation to a whole, okay? Also, in percentages, I'm trying to make this work. Also in percentages, you could also use a percent bar. Let's talk about a percent bar. Okay, percent bar. This is a percent bar, right? Percent bar, and it looks like this. It has a part. It has a whole. And it has a percent of 100. Okay, percent of 100. Let's see if that's better. Sorry, percent of 100, okay? So for instance, say we were trying to figure out a percentage on an income of $1,200. So we got $1,200 a month, okay? $1,200 a month. That's how much we have. And say we wanted to know, well, okay, say if someone had told us, okay, you can only pay $35 towards rent. So that's the percent. Remember, I talked about the percentage goes over here. This is the percentage. It's over to your right. So anything that's a percentage goes to your right. Let's do this. Percent over here. So this is the percentage, right? So you got 35% of 1,200, okay? And you needed to know how much will you actually pay for rent at 35%. So we would take 1,200 as our whole, right? So we got the percent, we got the percent whole, remember, because the percentage, 100% would be the denominator, right? It's the whole going on the bottom. The total amount is the whole of the income. That's how much income you have, the 1,200. And you're trying to find out, well, what is the part of that? Okay, what you could do, this is similar to a proportion. It's proportional, okay? Proportion is to equal ratios. We'll talk about that later, but I'll explain how to work this to get this part. So you could take this part, percent, times this whole of 1,200. Okay, so you would multiply right here. You would do the math on that, right? And so if you did the math on this, 1,200 times 35, okay? And you would get 0. 5 times 0, 0. 5 times 0, so it's over there, 0. That's 0. 5 times 2 is 10. Put your 1. Add your 1 up there. Put your 0 here, add your, which is your 1's place. And you would add your 10's place, which is 1 at the top. 5 times 1 is 5 plus 1 more is 6. And then you would take 3. So now you'll go here and you would multiply 3 times 0. And since we're doing 3 times 0, we would just bring the 0 right below the 3 on the second line. 3 times 0. 3 times 2, just 6. And then 3 times 1. And we won't use this one because we've already used it, which is 6. I'm sorry, 3 times 1, which is 3. What I'm saying, 6. 3 times 1, which is 3. Okay, I'm trying to do multitask here. So then we would add. You got 0, 0, 0, 12. Carry a 1, which is 4. Now, because this is technically, when you multiply it like this, you can turn it into a decimal. We talked about last week how to convert a percent to a decimal. Remember, we talked about that. We go 1, 2, right? So technically, when you're multiplying it like this, you would just move that decimal 2 places to your left. And when you come down here, wherever, however many times you moved it up here, or how many decimal places you have at the top, you put it at the bottom. 1, 2. See that? So that leaves you with $420. So let's look at it again. You got a percent bar, okay? It has a part, percent, whole, and then a percent whole. And what we were trying to figure out is what is 35% of $1,200. So what we did was we inserted the information in the percent bar. We took 1,200 times 35, which gave us 420. I'm sorry, no, 420. You know what we did here? We kind of skipped the step. So we took this time this and got 420. We could do it this way. This is the first way that we could do it. And we would get 420, okay? So you notice we skip a step. But since we're doing this live, I'm gonna explain to you what you could have done the long way if you had a calculator, but in most cases, if you're doing it manually, this would be a good way to convert this percent to a decimal and multiply it by the actual income, the total, the whole. And it will give you 420. But if you had a calculator, or if you just felt like doing it the long way, you could take 35 times 1,200, and that will give you, that would have just given you this right here, 400, it would have given you 42,000. And then you could have divided it by 100. So you could take 35 times 1,200, and then divide it by 100, and then it would give you 420. Okay? All right, so now we know, what do we know? That for rent, out of the 1,200, it's 420. Okay, 420 for rent. So that's for rent. We'll just put rent right there, rent. Okay, rent, right? And so next, so what we'll do next is we will actually do a percentage for the electric bill. So you'll take that same $1,200, which will be considered your whole, right? You would take that same $1,200. So you have, let's look at this. Okay, you have the whole here, 1,200. That's your whole, right? What goes over here? I told you percentages always go to the right. So what goes here? A percent is always of a whole of how much? Okay, if you said 100, you were right. You were right, 100. And so we're gonna try to figure out, wait a minute, give me 1 second. I'm trying to, this computer is crazy. All right, so we have, what we're gonna do is try to figure out how much is, we're trying to find out what is 15% of 1,200. So let's try this. Let's do it again. So we got 15% here. And what did I say do? What did I say do here? All right, I said multiply here, right? Now, we're gonna do the short way, and then if you had a calculator, you could actually do it the longer way, or we could do it manually, but for time's sake, I'm gonna show you the actual short way to get the percentage again of a whole. And all you need to do is take 1,200 times 15, right? And remember I said, convert this 15 into a decimal, 1, 2. So you got 0.15. So you would take 0.15, right? And you would multiply. 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 2, again, is 10. Like the 0 and the 1. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 more is 6. Okay, 6. Right? And then any number times 1 is the number itself. So 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 2 is 2. It's over here. And then 1 times 1, we won't use this one because we already use it. 1 times 1 is 1, right? And so then we have 0, 0, 0. So we need to make space, 0. We have 8, and then bring that 1 down. So we're going to have 18,000, but because we have 2 decimal places at the top, we will put the 2 decimal places here. And think in money, this would be $180. $180. So that's $180. So See that? $180. But what you could have done as well, you could have taken 1,200 times 15. Don't move the decimal when you do it this long way. 1,200 times 15. All right, so you could multiply 1,200 times 15 and then divide it by 100. Multiply here first and then divide by 100, and then you would get 180. You would get the same answer. But you could skip a step. When you're looking for a percentage of a whole, you could just, again, convert the percentage into a decimal by moving it 2 places to the left and multiplying it by the whole. And you would get 180. So what did we say? 180 for electric. We could just say, I kind of want to give myself some space over here. Let's get some space. So we got $180 for electric. Okay, see that? So 420 and then 180 for electric. Okay, so we just use a percent bar to show how we could solve to find the part if we had the percent. Now we're going to actually use a percent bar to figure how we could find the whole, right? So let's look at it again. Let's look here. So we got this right here, the bar. Remember, what did I say? This is the part, whole. This is the part of the 1,200. This would be part. This would be where the whole would go. This would be where the percent will go. And what always goes here is the 100. 100. Okay? See that? Part, whole, percent. And we're using the percent bar, right? So what are we looking for? We're looking for the whole. Now, we already know the whole, but just in case you didn't know the whole, I'll tell you again what you could do. What is the part? The part is, we're looking for so the water bill is $60, and that's at 15%, right? So the water bill is $60. That's the part, because that's part of the whole of 1,200. And that's at 5%. At 5%. So what do we do again? Again, whenever you're looking for the part, percent, or whole, again, you would multiply here, right? You would multiply, and then you would divide by this. So let's do this one because the numbers aren't as big, so I'll show you exactly how it goes. So you would take 100 times 60, right? And you would say 0. Remember, we're doing 0, 0, 0. And then we'll come back, and we'll take 6 times 0. Remember, we're here, 6 times 0. And so since we're at the second number, like here, 0. But since we're here, 6 times 0, we'll put our 0 here. 6 times 0, 6 times 1 is 6, okay? So with this one, I won't do the decimals because I want to show you something. First of all, this doesn't have a decimal. This is a part whole. So what we'll do is just bring the numbers down, finish multiplying, right? So what do we have? We have 6. We got 6,000. We got 6,000, right? So do we do our numbers right? Let me see. Let's make sure. 0, 0, 0. Then we did 0, 0, 0. We brought everything down. Okay, so we multiplied that, right? And we got 6,000, right? And so then we want to divide by 5. We divide by 5, right? So we divide by 5. And once we divide by 5, okay, I'm going to divide by 5. So we're going to take, let's use this side up here. So we're going to take 5 into 6,000. Right? And we talked about division. So literally last week, we went over division. So maybe you can go back to the other videos and it'll show you how we actually work division. So just for time's sake, we're going to go ahead and work through this one. But I told in the other class, I told you all divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, one number at a time. We talked about that. So we'll take 5 divided into 6. How many 5s can you get out of 6? 1, right? And then 1 times 5 is 5, right? Let's give us some space here, right? And then 1 times 5 is 5. Then we subtract, right? I told you, divide, multiply, subtract. So we multiply, now we're subtracting. Now we bring down one number at a time. 5 goes into 10. I'm sorry, 5 goes into 10 2 times, right? 2 times 5 is 10, right? So we'll have to just rewrite this, but it's okay. You with me so far? So now we subtract. Again, we subtract. That gives us 0. Whenever you have to, so 5 goes into 0. So we subtract, then we bring down, right? One number at a time. 5 goes into 0, 0 times. You have to show that. Whenever you bring a number down, you have to show that you are bringing that number down by dividing it into 0 times, okay? So 5 goes into 0, 0 times, and because you have another 0, right? So we brought this 0 down. Let's look at this. So we brought this 0 down, right? That 0, now we got to bring this 0 down, right? And 5 goes into 0 again, 0 times. 5 goes into 0, 0 times 5 is 0. And that leaves us with 0. So again, we got the 1,200, right? So what did we do? We did, let's get this. We did, let's look at this. So remember, we had our part, we had our whole, we had our percent. And we had 100 right here at all times. It's 5%. And we had 60, right? And so we took, again, we did the math over here. We did 60 times 100. Let's get this out the way. I have a lot of space, but we have an erase board. So we got 60, and we ended up doing 1, 2, 3. Our answer here was 6,000. Remember, we had that earlier. We had 6,000. And so that you can see what we're doing here. So we took 60 times 100, okay? And that gave us 6,000, right? But we want to find the whole. So to use this bar, you would take 60 times 100, and then you would divide it by 5, which is what we did here. 5 goes into 6,000, 1,200 times, and we knew that because we started with 1,200. But I was just showing you how we worked it out. So what did we say? That the water bill is $60. Okay, water bill, $60. So we got of the income. This is the income right here. This is our income. This is our income, $1,200. We spent $420 on rent, $180 on electric, and $60 on water. Now, we still have some more expenses that we want to look at. And so let's try and figure out, if I gave you 20% of, so say I give you 20% towards food, okay? So you got 20% toward food. How much is our income again? We talked about it. We said our income was $1,200 for that month. Income is $1,200. So we will only have 20% for food, okay? So again, we could use that bar. We could use the bar, right? We know that down here on the bottom is our whole of 100. Because remember, of a percentage, 100 is always the denominator of the whole. It's 100 as its denominator, right? The bottom number, it's always the whole. So 100% always goes here. And I said I'm giving you, well, let's put it like this. Yeah, I'll give you $240. Let's just put it like that, $240 towards food. So I'll put the 240 is the part, remember, because the whole is what? What did we say the whole was? The whole was 1,200 of income, 1,200. So we'll put the 1,200 here, right? And we need to find the percent. So again, what do? And for time's sake, you can work it at your leisure, do the math on it, but we'll take this times this, which is 100 times 240. And then what did I say do next? I said we will actually do the division. So we'll take 240 times 100, then divide it by 1,200, and then we would get 200. We would actually, I'm sorry, get 20%. I kind of told you earlier when we did it. Okay. So again, this is the part. This is the whole. This is the percent whole. This is the percent part. Percent part. Okay. Now let's put it all together, because we still have a percentage left out of 100, because we've only spent, so we've spent $240 for food. Let's just say for food. Let's do the math here. Let's do the math. Let's do the math. So that we can see it. We'll do it in whole number, and we'll do it in percent as well so that you can see it. And then you'll tell me how much we have left and what percent we have left. Okay? So we got, what do we have here? So we have 1,200 here. And 1,200 is what percentage? 1,200 was what percentage of the money we spent? If you said 100%, you were right. Right? You were right, 100%. So this equals this. So 1,200 equals the 100% of the income. We have spent $420 for rent. And we said that that was, anybody remember? 35%. Okay, we said that that was 35%. So 35% of 1,200 is 420. Or 420 of 1,200 is 35%, because this equals that, right? But let's take this amount off, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and take that amount off. This leaves us with 0. Do the math. That's 10. That leaves us with, so we got 1, and we do the math here. 10 minus 2 is 8, right? And then we got 11 here. We can't take 4 from 1, so we will borrow. This will become a 0. This becomes an 11. See that? So we got 0, 0. 2 from 0, you can't take, you borrow, that becomes 10. So you borrow here, that becomes a 1. And we borrowed here, that makes it a 0, it becomes 11. Because you can't take lower numbers from smaller numbers. So anyway, we do the math, that gives us $780 left after rent. $780 left after rent. All right, so let's put it over here. So we got 1,200 minus 420 leaves us with $780. Okay? See that? $780 left. All right? So let's look at this. So now we have to take off the percentage. So we said that was we said that was 35%, right? So that leaves us with 65%. Okay? So we got 65% left. Okay? So again, that's one way to look at it. You could take those percentages off, you could take the part off the whole, and you keep going until you actually get to the whole. But I'm going to show you a quick way to do this for time's sake. We're going to go ahead and do a percent wheel so that you can see. So let's just see how this works. So we got $1,200 here, $1,200, okay? And do it like this and like this, okay? So we got a percent wheel, and we're gonna put percentages in there as well as dollar amounts. So we said 420, let's just say 420 for the rent, which we said was 35%. See that? We said $180 for the electric, $180, which we said that was 15%. Then we said $60 for the water. We could just say $60 here. And that was equal to, what we say, 5%. Okay, we said 5%. Then we said we had some monies left for food. Okay, and I gave you all 20% for that. So let's just say 20%. 20% for food. And when we did the math on that one, we actually got $240. Okay, $240. So far, we've spent $240, $420, $180, and $60, right? And when we do the math on that, so we got let's look at this, 420 plus 240 plus 180 plus 60. Roll with me? And so that's how much we've spent so far. Okay, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we got 0, and we got, what do we have here? You can make 10s. Let me show you an easy way to do this. 4 and 6 is 10. 8 and 2 is 10. So 10 plus 10 is 20, right? So that's an easy way to do it. When you're working with longer numbers, make 10. So you know that that's 20. You carry your 2. And then do you have a 10 here? You got 8, 9. We actually have 9, right? All right, so you have $900 that you've spent already, okay? Which leaves you with, how much does that leave you with? That leaves you with, so the income was $1,200. We said it was $1,200. And then we take the $900 off of that, and that leaves us with $300, right? $300. So we got $300 for savings. Let's just say savings. Let's just say $300 right here. We could save that. $300, right? Now, what do we not know? We do not know the percentage there. So let's do the math. We're going to do it the short way. There are many ways to do it. You could use the bar. You could do it the long way. So we'll do it. Actually, we could work through it 2 ways. We could use the bar. Okay. So what is that? $300. So we could use the bar. Okay. Let's use the bar. Wait a minute. Let's use the bar. Give me 1 second. We're going to use the bar. Okay. Choose the bar. So we got the bar. Remember the bar. So here we said that the total amount was $1,200, right? And we said that to your right bottom, which is your whole, was 100%. And then at the top, to your left is the 300. And then the bottom is the 1,200, right? And then we talked about doing the math, multiplying here, and then dividing by here. Now, when you do the math, for time's sake, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. We're going to take 300 times 100, and then we'll divide it by 1,200, and then that will give us 25%, which is 25% left here, right? So let's close this out. So we got 20%, 35%, 15%, and we have 5%, and we have 25%. When we do the math on it, it should get us 100%. So let's close this out. We're going to do the math on it, and we're going to make sure. So we got 20, we have 35, we got 15, we have 5, and we have 25, right? So we got 5, 10, 15, 20, carry our 2, and then we have, do we have some 10s here? We got 2, 4, 6, 7, and then we got 10 with the 3, which gives us 100%. So we spent all our money using the percent bar. Hopefully you were able to get that. We were doing a lot. We did a little division and percents, and you see now how all math is necessary to be able to do any kind of math. So sometimes you need multiplication, sometimes you need to do division, but it's important that we learn all math. Thank you so much. Hopefully I was clear. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment bar on the bottom. Bye-bye.